Even if you are an adult, what is something that you are never truly too old for? Plague 681 said. Coloring. Having a toddler has made me realize coloring things is fucking awesome. Awkward Babazil said. I did this with my husband when we first started dating. I was studying art, and I was crafting with polymer clay as a hobby. He tried to make me a little dinosaur, but he doesn't have good fine motor skills, and it turned into the squishy, lopsided, Loch Ness-looking dino. He wanted to smash it back into the clay block because he didn't think it turned out good, but I refused to let him. I baked it with my other clay sculptures, and that little squishy-looking dino has sat lovingly on my dresser for the past decade. Ulysses Oddity said. Sledding in snow tunnels, puzzles, kicking up piles of dead leaves, cavorting like a seal at the deep end of the pool, cannonballing off the end of the dock. Sandcastles. Licking bowls of cake and cookie dough, insert health warning legal boilerplate here, faces in the mirror and funny noises. Bursting into song when washing dishes. Smelling flowers. Saying we, when driving on a curvy hilly road. I'm 63. Little French Press said. I'm a small woman, so it's pretty easy to counter this by shifting my weight, but it also helps to have something really heavy in the end of the cart. Put a few cases of beer in the end of the cart, use some plungers to wedge them in so they stay, and you may be good to go in a smaller cart. I honestly don't know WTF I'm talking about, but it sounds good and there's always the beer if it fails. Depper said Potato 777 said. I can't even remember the last time I laughed like that. It's been, well, years. I used to like that all the time because my boyfriend was so fucking goofy. But then drugs and alcohol changed people and I just got too stressed about life to find things funny anymore. But I enjoy watching people, like the subbar Contagion slaughter. The long blank stare said. Even if her neurons don't fire like they used to, it's never too late, barring physical or mental impairment, to pick up a hobby or to just stop and enjoy things as they are. Too many folks get caught up in the rat race, and at the end of our lives, all we wish for is more time, never for more money or possessions or status, just time. We'll all regret not doing some of the things we wished we had done, so it's best if we trash this I'm too old for mentality and started living more consciously. Zaworski said. My grandpa plays an older COD game, I forget which one, and plays gun game and just runs around knifing people because he likes pissing them off. It cracks him up when they start going off in the lobby cussing him out and calling him a bitch for knifing them. Fight Max Master said. My dad loves COD Modern Warfare, the original, and plays multiplayer all the time. Accuses people of cheating who play too well and makes up obscure names for the hacks they must be using just to distract and annoy them. Irish Muminicoldland said. When my boys were little I would tuck them in bed, then I would put my hands on either side of their body above the blanket and while pushing up and down, slow then fast, would sing, You, are, Snoogasabijin rug, Snoogasabijin rug, Snoogasabijin rug. They would laugh and ask for more and it is now a fond memory. My kids are adults now and the other night my oldest and I were chatting as he was in bed and I was at the door. He asked me to turn off his light and I asked him if I could do anything else for him. He got this grin and said, snug as a bug in a rug. I said yes, which he couldn't believe, and I did it. We ended up giggling so hard. We had the best laugh and as I turned out his light I could see he just looked so pleased and beamused. Haha. His brother was also going to bed, so I offered snug as a bug in a rug to him too. He said yes. Again, full of giggles that were still happening as I closed his door. It doesn't matter how old you are, you're never too old to be Snoogasabij in a rug. Edit. Whoa. I'm so glad that this brought so many nice memories back for people. For those that don't have those memories, I don't either, but I'll offer to snug as a bug in a rug you. Thanks for all of the awards. Machines Godiva said. Yes. My mom always announced bedtime by singing good night ladies to my sisters and me as she walked down the hallway. We knew that meant hop into bed and get ready to be tucked in. It was the best part of the bedtime routine. One time when all three of us were home visiting, we were in one room chatting about things and all of a sudden we hear good night ladies. The thrilled looks on our faces must have made my mom so happy. Or maybe it was having all her girls home with their girls. We were all three grown, married and 4 granddaughters. Sigh. Makes my heart feel good thinking on that now. Yucks Dogmam said. Yep, as a kid I thought naps were so uncool, and if you slept at all during the day then you were a baby. My dad told me that once I was a teenager I would no longer think naps were babyish and uncool. I stood my ground at the time and was like, I will never think naps are not babyish. Spoiler, my dad was right. Once I hit sophomore year of high school, the very first thing I did every day when I got home was sleep for 3 hours. Watau Can't Find said. On my 25th birthday, my adult friends and I went to the Georgia Aquarium since I could get in free on my birthday. Age range 25-30. We's all lost our collective shit over the otters. I've also moved from Georgia to Arizona and I miss squirrels. Went to the top of one of the mountains and got incredibly excited seeing squirrels. Cactus Fucker said. Dogs are just so happy. My old boy wags his tail when he sees anyone. He's seen us every day for 14 years and he still wags his tail. He finds a sock and it makes his day. He gets a treat and it makes his day. He goes for a walk and it's the best day, every day, and if he meets another dog on his walk, they have a great time. Caddy at 535 said, one of my favorite silly memories of the last year my dad was alive was we came into my room and started bonking me with an empty wrapping paper roll, then walked downstairs. As soon as he left the room I dug through my drawer to find the toy lightsaber my friends had got me and rushed downstairs. Obviously not the quietest act in the world, so when I got to the bottom of the stairs my dad was sort of waiting to find what the rush was all about. Instead he saw the lightsaber and we had a lightsaber versus wrapping paper tube fight for a few minutes. He was 60 and I was 22, you were never too old for those moments, spontaneous fun and created a memory I treasure. Obama's Ty said. There's a great video of 2 British military veterans, one who served recently in Afghanistan and the other a much older veteran who served in World War II, speaking with each other and describing their experiences. I thought one of the most powerful lines in the conversation was from the older veteran, a 95-year-old man who lived and fought through so much history and has seen how much the world has changed over the course of nearly a century, say to the young veteran, I've learned a lot from you. Ryamori I said. Strange about learning, the farther I go the more I see that I never knew even existed. A short while ago I foolishly thought I could learn everything, all the knowledge in the world. Now I hope only to be able to know of its existence, and to understand 1 grain of it. Is there time? Daniel Keyes, Flowers for Algernon. G8KPR said. About half a dozen mention Lego or cartoons or video games. But not one of you mentions board games. Now I know many will say adults play board games. My parents always played Scrabble on Sunday nights, or Monopoly on Thanksgiving or whatever. First, I know several adults who eyeball board games as kids' toys, and since they're not a kid, and don't play with dolls or action figures, they also don't play with board games. Secondly, Scrabble, Monopoly, Clue, Battleship, Connect 4, and so on are antiquated board games. What I am referring to are modern board games. Since the mid-90s, board games have had this resurgence, and by the early 2000s we're having this huge uprising in new and innovative games. The hobby is growing by leaps and bounds, thousands of games released each year, board game stores and cafes are popping up everywhere. Yet it still feels that the hobby is mostly flying under the radar of the general public. Maddie80 said. I was staying over with my aunt for a few weeks for various reasons, and one time I got in from the rain. France, it rains constantly, and she was sitting alone at the kitchen table drinking a glass of odd wine. I gestured to the bottle and she waved like it was nothing, letting a 16-year-old drink a glass of wine. Because, you see, to her it wasn't because she had received the news that her cancer was terminal and would likely see her die before the end of the ski season, which was weeks away. So it came to pass. She was 44. I'm currently 41 and also have cancer, though mine gives me a decent shot at survival. Let's hope so, eh? She said to me words that I have lived by, you never really get old, you just get older. I look in shop windows, or I did when they were open, and I think, who's that old woman? The answer of course is that it's me. I'm forever 16 in my mind. The answer to your question is everything. Nobody truly grows up. They just get older and then die, wondering what the hell happened. Hieronymus said. I'm a grown-ass chef. People definitely see me as a hard ass because of my profession. I still rock Disney soundtracks while prepping. It gets you going and will undoubtedly put you in a good mood. Also, puppies and pretty much any animal. Never too old to get excited about animals. Honestly, the older I get, the more I encourage myself to enjoy what I did as a kid. Occasional fruit snacks, cartoons, etc. Life is too fucking short to be an adult all the time. Edit, on mobile. I also felt like adding that the owners of the last restaurant I worked at had a 2-year-old that cheered whenever a train went by. Try it out the next time you see one. No matter how stupid you might feel, it will make you smile. Old Forest Walker said. Watching cartoons. While a lot of cartoons nowadays aren't that good, but quite a few old ones and even some newer ones have amazing stories and compelling characters. Same goes for animated movies. Nothing wrong with watching kids shows as an adult.